Must be Casio day.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Hey guys, welcome to the show before the show. Appreciate it. Hi, Ben, Sherry, Bendy, Lizzie, Barb. Hey, Joe, feel free to pop it that 2-shot if you think the show.
I was just adjusting like lighting and everything on everybody's camera. I had it on the.
I loved your idea.
Yeah.
I mean, like throughout the show, 2-shot.
Okay.
I mean, it makes us look like what we do. I mean, professional.
Right. Sure.
1-shots are great if you have time. I know you got a lot going on in there.
Well, today we have less videos. I might be able to mess with some stuff. $3.95.
Yeah, $3.95.
Guys, we appreciate you coming into the show
$3.95.
before the show. What else do we have here?
Do we have Kelly Mono and Eric in tomorrow?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
I have to call them. We'll see.
If Kelly was in last week, I don't think she'll be in tomorrow. And it seems like she said she was doing something.
Well, I know next week, I believe she's doing she just announced it so we can say, I think she announced it on our show, actually.
She did. She did.
What is it? New Kids on the Block?
Yes.
I think that's next week.
Okay. So she might come
today.
in this
Yeah,
week.
she might be
Okay.
this
Very
week.
good.
Wait a second. What's today? June
13th.
13th.
No, she's gone. She's in Cleveland tomorrow for the New Kids on the Block concert.
Oh, I thought
Okay,
you
that's-
said that was next week.
No, it's tomorrow.
Okay.
The following week is St. Louis.
Gotcha.
Tomorrow.
That's what most. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Tomorrow is President Trump's birthday, right? Isn't it June 14th? And it's Flag Day?
Yes, I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tomorrow's the day that I'll do the thing I said I was going to do.
Well, and the one that Megan brought is in there
Yeah.
that says
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I folded them all last night.
Very good. Very good. Then you know.
Is that the one we want?
Sure.
For
Because
what?
it's his birthday tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
So
And
of
it's
course
Flag
we did.
Day. Sure. Why
Yeah,
not? Yeah.
why not? Tomorrow's Flag Day.
So what are we
Trump
thinking of?
flag.
Trump flag
flag.
or what?
Put it like
Well-
right back here because it's his birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't look tacky like tack to a
Yeah.
wall.
Or, you know,
No,
can
I don't
do-
want it to. No, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Megan put it here last week.
So you
Or
want
when
it
she was
behind you
here?
instead of that monitor?
Sure. And it was, look and see what you guys think. When Megan put it up when she was here that day.
Mhm.
And if you guys think it looks good, then put it up there. If you don't, then don't.
Okay.
But I think it warrants a little bit of time tomorrow that it's his birthday.
I have an idea. I'll work on it tonight or today.
Fantastic.
Yes, Gary, we'll talk about that. I sent it to, I had it yesterday written down. Saudi Arabia, it's a big story. I had it in my notes. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show as we get ready to go today.
Gary says, how about Saudi ditching the petrodollar?
That's what he was just talking
I'm
about.
sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
I wasn't listening. Normally I'm really good at listening, but I clearly didn't listen.
And I have a question. What is a petrodollar?
Hmm.
It's the oil dollars.
Yeah, like petroleum.
Yeah, but
Petroleum.
right. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And that just says
They're
a
not
lot.
just going to accept in US dollars anymore. They have opened it up. It's
Mhm.
going to be a huge impact. It will
really
be
is.
on our account, on our economy.
Gotcha.
It's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wonder if that's going to be the Black Swan event. That could be huge. Like that. Yeah. That could be a real problem. And you guys share the show to a friend today. If you're on Facebook, just take the little arrow and text it to a friend today. You can do that though. If you're on X, do it on X. If you're on YouTube, do it on YouTube. If you're on Rumble, do it on Rumble. If you're listening after the fact, send it, whether you're on Google, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, wherever you listen to just the audio platform, text it to a friend today. Would greatly appreciate it. And Joe Gary's answering the question. Saudi Arabia will not be renewing the 50-year petrodollar agreement
Yeah,
with the
we're
United
gonna-
States.
Yeah, we're going to get into all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, we have. I mean,
Good, we have to.
Yeah, because I'm confused.
It's not. Well, it's so. Yeah,
You'll
Yep.
get it.
It's not good.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I know, Ben. The laptop stands. Oh my gosh, my mind. Okay. Anyway, yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh, I have to here we go. Try to catch up here. Hey guys, thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing the show here with canceltheshow.com. It's June 13th. It is a Thursday, ready to rock and roll. Okay, everybody. What was that up there? Oh, that's nice. Chris says, by the way, Vic, I'll be at Mizzou for my Father's Day with my daughter's freshman orientation.
That's so fun. Freshman orientation is actually a lot of fun. Bittersweet, though, too.
Good morning, Peter George from Lake of the Ozarks. All right, Joe, let's start the show, my man. You rock and roll. The Joester. Hey guys, welcome into canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house. It is Thursday, June 13th, episode, what are we, 395 today?
That is it.
395. Glad you're with us for all the news headlines, politics, political interviews, cancel culture education, water cooler talk, anything that's going on, and money, economy. Of course, we cover it all. Thanks for making us the most downloaded news talk show throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. I know we have people listening all over the country, and we are grateful for that. Good morning, Cancel This, and the notorious VIC Heathen. Okay, not sure that's me. This show also brought to you by the Renew Media Group, LLC.com. We appreciate you guys doing that. We can take care of your video needs, your business podcast marketing. It really is the new frontier for businesses. And of course, We rent out our studio. We get podcasts going. We are grateful for all of your support. Yes, Mizzou is a good college. I keep looking down at some of those comments. We are here today. Lots to get to. Chanel Rion, our friend from OAN, has a very interesting video about what's happened to her and FBI spying. You won't want to miss that. Our good friend, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, testified on Capitol Hill today about what happened to Donald Trump. You'll hear him talk about that. Congressional baseball game last night. I think the Republicans won again for the 20th straight year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Lots of times in a row. I mean,
Democrats are losers
on
on the field of play. New Bloomberg poll out about who's responsible for the economy. No surprise there. There's also a gentleman, former stenographer. What a job that would be for the White House and Biden. Need a hazard pay for that job. He's come out with some explosive claims about President Biden, and he wants to work with a committee to get all this information out because he thinks the American people need to know. That's very interesting. Talk about a couple more companies, investors pushing back against all the woke BS, riots, protesting, ramping back up again, unfortunately, when it comes to anti-Semitism. And I'm sorry, you can blame Israel. You can blame Israel for some things. It takes two to tango. But you can't blame Israel for October 7th, and you can't blame Israel or Jews, innocent Jews, for what has been going on and continues to go on, which, by the way, you may not think it affects you. Oh, yeah, let the Jews take care of themselves until it becomes an anti-American situation. The anti-Semitism has quickly become anti-American very quickly, and we've seen that as well. And there is something that I think may shock you that you can still do as a teacher, at least in the state of California, that is not punishable by law, and a teacher can still keep their job if caught doing it.
I think that should be the case. I mean, teaching drives you to drink these days, so you can't blame a woman.
Oh, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we are grateful for everything that you guys do for our show. We're here to rock and roll. Please like, subscribe, share the show, and we'll continue to do everything that we can. All right. It is 8:08 as we get ready. Oh, and by the way, we have the People's Platform. You can jump in with comments on the chat line as well. We're grateful for you guys doing that every day. What you can do, jump in, give us information, educate us, we educate you. Chris says, am I the only one that notices that these wimps don't protest in cold or bad weather?
Yeah, they sure don't.
They're cowards. If you're going to go out and protest and break the law, you're a coward.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to cover your face, you're a coward.
Mm-hmm.
You go out in packs of wolves because you're a coward. You can't do it by yourself. I don't understand the anti-Semitism. Of course you don't. And yes, not only is it anti-America, it's quickly turned to anti-America.
That's right.
As well.
We are next.
I guess they may not be that passionate about it. No, they're not. They're not. These are weak, coward people who are hiding behind their mask, who refuse to get into the topic of everything that's going on, because it's not really just free Palestine. There's so much more to it. If it was just free Palestine, it would be really easy, but it's not.
Nope.
They'll hide behind that. Not everybody, but most of them. They do that. And of course, if you're breaking the law, all right, you're a criminal. Sorry. End of story. Okay. Let us know if we're missing anything. We'll do what we can. Joe, how are you doing this morning? You ready to rock and roll?
I am, man.
All right. I love to see you. Look at that.
There he is. You popped right up.
I knew as soon as if I didn't, he would say something.
That's right. So you got ahead of Vic.
Yeah.
You got ahead of the big VIC this morning. I love it.
Oh, we are grateful. Thank you, guys. All right. So with that being said, hello, everybody. Okay. You guys brought it up. I guess we could start with it right out of the gate. What's happening with the dollar? Because this is you're not hearing about it in national or local media. Did you know about the Saudi Arabia dollar yesterday and gas, Lizzie?
No, I really
Joe,
did not
you
know.
didn't either,
No,
right?
I did not know about it.
I knew it was coming. I just didn't. I still don't know
Okay,
exactly
here's
what it means.
Here's what Saudi Arabia did. They ditched the U.S. dollar, and they're not going to renew the 50-year-old petrodollar agreement with the United States. What does that mean? Why is it a big deal? Why should you care? Well, that means they're now going to sell oil in multiple currencies, not just the U.S. dollar. In my humble opinion, it will have effects, maybe devastating effects on our U.S. economy.
Absolutely.
Because not only are they doing multiple, but they're doing the Chinese RMB, euros, yen, and the yuan instead of exclusively in US dollars. Once again, this is on Biden's watch. This is all about a guy who is not mentally there, his administration not mentally there. And then there is the camp, and I'm in this camp, that feels that this was done on purpose.
Oh, of course it was.
And we have people from within who are a part of this, who are allowing this to happen. And it's part of the deep state. These are the situations, one after the other. They are a stepping stone effect. You chunk off a little bit here. You take off a little bit of there. You peel back a little bit of that. And it destroys the American economy. It destroys things that we've been doing. I do believe it's going to have some unprecedented effects on our economy. And it's all on Biden. I'm not kidding. It seems as if he wants his country busted and broke when he either, goes to sleep for good, or leaves office, or whatever the case may be. But in my humble opinion, it was the biggest news of the day yesterday.
Yeah, it definitely was. And he does. And we don't know exactly who's behind Biden other than a few couple names and other people. So Sleepy Joe doesn't even know anything about this petrol money.
Well, it should be talked about. And I promise you, if Donald Trump was in office, number one, it would not happen. It would not happen, because that man would put some sort of pressure back on those people. And this is why you heard Donald Trump over the weekend in Nevada talking about energy independence. We have enough oil in the United States if we drill. We do. It's been proven. But there are other factors at play to try to bankrupt America. And then, of course, you have the climate idiots and I say idiots because of how they act with no factual information, and they attack people who are trying to drill. They attack people who are all about the oil industry. It's mind-boggling what's happened. And I do believe this is going to have big consequences on our economy.
Yes, and most people don't even see it coming. They don't even see the problem that's heading right here to America. And they're not going to play it, even if they do. Even if Fox ends up playing this, or CNN, it'll be like a little blurb and not really explained at the detriment that it's going to be to America. They'll keep it very brief.
If you guys have, we have more oil than anyone. We do.
We do.
But you also have now a situation where Joe Biden continuously, because of his economic policies, he doesn't have any, put us in a really bad situation when it came to our oil. We stopped drilling. Then confidence was lost. Then he started releasing our reserves, and then they become lower than we've had, historically low levels. And then Saudi Arabia, all of it goes, yeah, we're not just going to trade in the US dollar anymore. This isn't by accident. These things are happening for a reason. By the way, Jay says every climate prediction for the last 39 years has never happened. That is a fact.
It's just the scare tactics that they've given to people. Their families had to make, get all this bottled water, take your hot water heater in, because all of these, quote, tornadoes are going to make a hole in your floor. I mean, think about all the stuff that they have said to people. And as a former business owner, all the precautions that I had to take at my preschools that never came about.
All because of climate change?
Oh, well, they called it something else.
Really?
Yeah, they called it something else way back. I didn't know that it was climate change or anything that was green energy, but back in the 90s, because of all these predictions that these earthquakes were just going to cave in the whole state of Missouri. The precautions we had to take were enormous, and none of it ever happened. It cost us thousands and thousands of dollars, and not one thing came to pass.
Jay Saunders says, Anwar is the largest oil field in the world. Chris adds that China, Russia, and India have been buying gold in bulk for this very scenario. We talked about that on the show with a guest. I think that was Patrick Willett out of New York, former financial advisor, stockbroker in New York, who told us he was very concerned about that.
Yes.
Once again, there are people at play, and China, Russia, and India are all part of BRICS, the company the group of countries that are trying to do their own thing when it comes to money and alliance. And we're just sitting over here like, hello, we're just going to sit on our little floaty and everything is fine. And Joe Biden's not doing a damn thing. No country sits back and allows to happen what is happening in the United States right now, unless it is on purpose.
That's right.
That's what scares me. Sometimes you'll make a mistake and you'll lose something. Okay, I get it. We'll correct the problem. We'll move forward. But when something's done on purpose, then it's like, uh-oh, we got some massive major issues that we're having to deal with. But most people don't understand that you have to go look for it. Even on the Fox News page, you didn't hear much about this.
No, you didn't. You didn't hear much about this hardly anywhere. And even if you did, like I said, it was such a manner that it's just matter of fact, not the catastrophic effect it's going to have on our country. They don't say that either because they don't understand or they're part of the problem.
Well, the other thing that came up with this, and George Papadopoulos, a guy who I love on X, also put out about 5 hours ago this morning that Russia has now enforced an immediate suspension of trading in US dollars on its stock exchange. The hits continue to come over and over and over again. But don't ever forget that Biden, in executive orders, within hours of having an opportunity to do these things, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline. He stopped further oil and gas production. This is why Donald Trump talked so much about this, about energy independence. Then he handed over pricing power to OPEC. Don't forget about that. He did all of these things. And then Trump, before he came in, had everybody at attention because he knows how to make a deal. He is a business maker. For all of his faults and failures in the past, when you have failures in life, you learn from them. I mean, most people do. And he had a lot of failures, but he also had a lot of successes. And he knows how to do a deal.
Yep, the art of the deal.
But OPEC was eating out of his hand.
Yeah.
He's like, here, you come up and do this. He made us energy independent with gas and oil. and this is now happening under the Biden administration. I promise you, Trump will come out and say something about this.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure he will.
If he hasn't already, he will.
That's right. Yeah, he's pretty busy this morning, so I'm sure sometime this afternoon we're going to see it on Truth Social or somewhere that he's talking about this.
But just think about this. We've been comfortable for 50 years when it comes to this oil situation, and you're not going to hear Democrats talking about it. This is really, really bad. And of course, Jay says, yeah, I love how Democrats claim we are drilling more than ever. We're not. Create a lie, repeat it over and over and over again, push it out to the masses who are not intelligent enough to do study for themselves, and then people will start to believe it. This all gets back to the world de-dollarizing. It's happening before our eyes. But once again, if you've never experienced, and this country has never really experienced hardship, people who are alive right now, serious, serious hardship, it hasn't happened. We're not here to try to use scare tactics. We're not here to make up things. We're talking about truth. We're talking about facts. There is a de-dollarization going on. It has been going on, and it's not going to stop. You have to fight fire with fire, and we don't do that under the Biden administration. You want to talk about topics that should be spoken about on a possible debate between Trump and Biden? How about border and how about our economy? Right out of the gate, not only from a local standpoint with what's happening from a standpoint when it comes to inflation, which is real. Fox News did they did like a 5-minute segment today, comparing prices, breaking it down, showing facts about how inflation is not only real, but it's the worst that we have seen. De-dollarization within the country, out of the country, and then inflation within the country. It's so bad. The other thing about it is it has a multifaceted effect. When I was making notes about what was going on with this, it has implications for both global economic and geopolitical dynamics because the petrodollar system was used for so long. We used it in a way that the rest of the world kind of fell in line. Now it's a free-for-all.
really is.
Who's going to make the best deal? Who's going to get, and obviously, people say, oh yeah, this is the build better. This is the build back better, right? No, it's not. The dollar. You want to start getting people's attention, start taking their money away. Start to see what happens with the dollar. Start to see all of the things that are going on. We broke this down on Monday with a international economist who's saying there's going to be a massive financial bubble break, and it's going to be worse than 2008 because too many things are happening right now. Every factor is there.
That's right.
And I know it can, and maybe people aren't understanding it yet because it hasn't hit you. It scares the shit out of me.
Me too.
Because if something isn't right in our face in America, we don't get it.
Right. We don't face
as
it until it
as a
hits
big
us.
group. People on the show probably do.
Yeah.
But we don't get it.
No, absolutely not. And Joe's saying the Build Back Better is the wish version of MAGA. And it's so true because the wish is stuff that you buy from China, you buy from a foreign country. And so everything that we're doing with foreign country is not part of the MAGA agenda. It's just not.
Also, the dollar's value is going to be going down even more so.
Yeah.
If you look at check gold, watch gold, watch what happens to gold in this whole situation too. And by the way, when, we put all kinds of sanctions on Russia because they invaded Ukraine. Remember what Russia did? They turned around, then they were selling their energy to other countries, forcing it to be paid in gold, and they became richer. Okay, so let's not, but the media won't tell you about that thing because they don't do the deep dives, they don't study, and they don't look around the world to see what's happening. It's all planned, people. This isn't by chance. There's a reason meetings have been taking place with BRICS. There's a reason countries that would never think about meeting without the United States being there are meeting. And it's all happened in 3.5 years or just over 3.5 years. Just as our guest in the past and one of our listeners, Robert, said, selected, not elected.
That's right.
Darren says, I work in the oil industry and we are a lot slower than normal, at least 50%, I would say.
Wow. That's amazing. And like you said, this president was selected, not elected, and he was selected to do exactly what he's doing, or his administration, I should say, doing exactly what he's doing, dismantling our country and doing it fast. Because I think they knew in their heart they probably couldn't win again because we weren't going to allow it to happen a second time with the election interference. So they are dismantling this country right in front of their face as fast as they can get it done, hoping that some of it is not repairable.
The other thing that's going on with this whole situation is you have to know what to do if you have money to invest, if you have money in accounts. Look at precious metals. I agree with you.
I do too.
Listener Chris or viewer Chris is saying, I am not a financial advisor or giving financial advice. There is my disclaimer, but I'm telling you, look at precious metals right now because of what's happening with the dollar. Of course, we've heard this for years. Some people have been talking about it for decades. Trish says the Biden administration has done everything they want. It's done in full throttle ahead. And nobody's talking about it. But to cancel this, we will talk. And that's why this whole show started, is to bring you stories that people were not hearing in mainstream media, local or national, or seeing in their online views and searches because they don't have time.
Yeah.
You really have to do your own research. It's tough. And I know people get busy or they just may not know how. But that story was the biggest news of June 12th, not only, in my humble opinion, from an American standpoint, but from an international standpoint as well.
You know, when Chris was saying, and you mentioned that you're to switch your 401ks to precious metals, I've never heard up until yesterday anyone doing that. And it's funny that he brings it up today. I talked to 2 people yesterday that were in the process of doing that with their 401ks. Instead of leaving their money in there, even though they could have gotten maybe more money over time with interest, but since the interest was tanking and they're afraid of who could take their money, they are investing in precious metals. And I had not actually heard somebody do that until yesterday. I've heard people talking about it, but that's kind of a risky thing that most people think is, I'm going to take my 401k out, because there's penalties when you do that. But I think that People are so fearful of what's coming up in our country now that they're trying to find alternative sources for their income, because nobody trusts what's going on in our bank accounts. Because when somebody can just get in there and take it, and I'm meaning they can take it, it's starting to scare people.
All of this is happening on Joe Biden's watch.
Yes.
Once again, I repeat, nothing good is happening with Joe Biden, and it hasn't. And there's a reason why even mainstream left, hard-charging liberal polling still has Donald Trump leading. When they say it's 2%, it's 12% or more. When they say it's 5%, it's 15% or more. There is a reason Donald Trump, this man who is so bad by the left, continues to gain popularity, because Americans are waking up. I hope it's fast enough. I hope it is fast enough. But if the dollar gets smashed, sometimes I feel as if the only thing that's going to make all of America realize it is to have your money devalued by 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crap. Life has changed all of a sudden, hasn't it?
Yes, for sure.
Oh, yeah. We can't do that anymore, can we? Oh, I see what's going on there now. Wake up. Like, subscribe, share the show, get the information out there. It's not that difficult to find. Look it up. Start reading, see what's happening with Saudi Arabia. It's all been a plan. They have been talking about this, and that's why you have that situation going on. Lizzie, you're told on the chat line, I did that over 4 years ago. There's actually a way to change it over through a reputable commodities dealer. Glenn says, I'm doing a lot of 401k rollovers into secure accounts right now. When it comes to everything that's happening. It's a very unstable time when it comes to the economy, which also leads into the bubble burst, which we've been talking about as well, which should concern people because of what's happening with our dollar.
Mm-hmm. But you also have to, there's several people on the chat line too, cautioning people on the other side. I'm just playing the devil's advocate now. Be cautious in doing that. Don't let
Be cautious in what?
Okay, like a lot of people on our chat line are talking about taking their 401k and cashing out that money and then putting it in something else. But other people on the chat line are saying, be cautious when you do that, because there's big fees and penalty. And also
there can be 35, 40%.
That's a lot. That's almost half. So you have to have your wits about you.
Or your 401k could totally be gone the next day.
That's right. That's right. So I understand both points of view. If you don't pull it out, it could be gone or not worth as much. Or the other side is don't do this because somebody just told you to do it. Don't let fear and fear mongering scare you too. You have to really think about what you're doing. And that in either choice that you make, that scary thinking, all your hard-earned money that is supposed to go to your retirement now could be in peril. And why is it in peril? It is literally this Joe Biden uniparty whole world order that want to control us, even with the money that we've saved for years.
America is weak under the current administration, and we're getting weaker. And if you don't think this has international implications, think again. We're just not respected like we were.
That's right.
And when people respected the United States, not because we're good people, it's because we were rich, powerful military.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, another report came out this morning. Only one of our military branches is meeting their numbers. That's the Marines. So Semper Fi, if you're a Marine, if you want to say it's the best branch, it's the only branch right now, the Marines, that are hitting their recruiting numbers.
Right.
And the only one that's doing it.
And you know why, don't you?
Why is that?
It's like the only one that hasn't gone fully woke. The Marines are not buying into the Navy. Big time is buying into let's do DEI, let's be woke. So less and less numbers are going on in the Navy. And there's even woke going on in the Army, not as much as the Navy. And there's definitely woke going on in the Air Force. So if you're going to go into the Marines, you're somebody that's not going to buy into this. You're typically the one that's on the front line. So if you're on the front line, you're not going to want the guy next to you in a dress, or the guy next to you wondering about whether he has to take a tampon or not because he's a guy or a girl or a he or a she or his pronouns. So I'm glad to hear that the recruiting numbers are still good with the Marines. And I like all the branches. I have family members in every single branch, but the family members that are not Marines are very upset about how woke some of the branches of the military is going.
Space Force exceeded its goal by a bit too. Leave it there if you have to. Start the silver and gold physical ownership immediately. Just another example from the chat line. Just rolling it over into a market account is what I did with my 401k. I was clueless about where to go with it. Like you said, I would have to have paid a penalty. It's now in a Roth IRA. Yeah, sure enough. Karen giving a shout out to the Marines. You just need to be prepared.
You do.
With Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia has controlled this. And just remember, Saudi Arabia is also, if you think back to 9/11, where those terrorists originated from.
Yeah.
It's Saudi Arabia. And when they did this, I'm sorry, they got us by the balls. They do. I don't know where you go from this. You know what you do? There's only one way out of it. And I hope and pray that Donald Trump speaks about this. It's about drilling here, using our own oil, and becoming our own superpower of energy.
He's talking crypto, though.
No, he talked crypto yesterday.
Right.
Crypto's one area of doing that.
And I think that's a result of this.
It could be. He's talking Bitcoin, actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was talking Bitcoin.
You're right.
But he said in numerous interviews that the very first thing that he's going to do when he gets in the office is to drill, baby, drill. So that's going to be in his top 2 or 3 things that he's going to do. And so that's very important. So Donald Trump is going to be talking about this because, yes, it involves our money, but we've got to drill here. And he had this all taken care of when he was in office. And one of the first things Joe Biden did is pull the plug on it. So I do think Donald Trump will be talking about this soon. It's one of many things he has to fix very soon.
I get so frustrated if we have a country that's asleep. I don't think Joe Biden personally is asleep at the wheel, but not to the people who are controlling him.
That's right. And Donald Trump has said recently, the people that is controlling Joe Biden right now are slick, smart, very intentional, very intellectual, and they're doing this all on purpose. So we can't, I often say, oh, these people are just so dumb. They're not. They're brilliant, but they don't love our country. So they want to use their brains and their brawn to tear us down. And we need to be aware that that's what's going on. They're not really that dumb other than Joe Biden. And I'm not saying he's dumb. Okay, maybe I am, but he's not with us. He's got dementia. He poops in his pants. But the people that are telling him what to do, they want him to look like this so that they can act like this country is gone to hell in a handbasket because of Joe Biden's, ineptitude, or the fact that he's senile, or the fact that he's not very bright, when in fact, all of this is being done on purpose. All of it.
Interesting. When I look at our comments, I want to go back up. If you can find it, Joe, and you can put it back up. Lisa says she works in the industry. Okay. And that's what we appreciate you jumping in. And she's talking about being careful. She says, do not trust gold and silver on paper. You need a good safe and have a small bar stored. You need a good safe and have small bars stored.
Right. You need to have a safe, like in your closet or in your basement or somewhere where it can protect that. And so that's what I was saying earlier. You can't just dive in because you're scared. There's a lot of repercussions on taking all of your money out of your 401k. That being said, maybe that's what we end up having to do, but you have to figure out what the alternative, because getting gold is great. And some people in the chat line were concerned about, if you get all gold and silver, what happens if this all does come down? What are we all going to do with our gold and silver? Trade it? Is it worth anything then? So there's a lot of things we have to think about we're being faced with that we never thought. Maybe 5-10 years ago, we thought we were safe and working hard and building a retirement, when in fact, they're trying to take it away. They want to take it away. They want us peons to have nothing, to own nothing and be happy.
My husband and I own actual physical gold and silver, no paper gold or silver. And Kimberly says, I don't understand why they hate their own country. They have to live here too. Why make it miserable?
Mhm.
Because there is another plan on side of that
There is.
to take over, government control, deep
Mhm.
state run, digital currency. All of these things add up. And these are the stories that we talk about on a daily basis. Yeah. And then Donna brings up real estate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and real estate has always been something that you should buy in. And you know what? Even to this day, even if we end up with another 2008 and everything tanks, real estate is still something. If you can own it, go own it, because they can tax you to death on it, but the more real estate you own, the more power you have in things. So it's going to be hard. They're saying that real estate is going to tank like in 2008, but it eventually does come back up. So if you can invest in something, in my opinion, it is real estate, not necessarily land, because if the land isn't worth something, but if you own houses or rental houses or something like that, somebody has to live in your property and somebody will be paying you rent. So real estate, even in the worst times, is still something very good to get.
It is. There's no doubt about it.
Yes. And like Kevin says, it's tangible. It's something you can see and you can touch.
Glenn checks in. Soros made all of his money by shorting currencies. He did.
Yeah, he did. He sure did.
And it makes you think about what's happening in this country right now. And it all gets back to the topic that we started talking about when it comes to the de-dollarization of America. When it comes across the world, we could dominate, we could control things because we had the money. And it's changing, and it's changing at a fast pace, especially with BRICS. And now with Saudi Arabia taking away, and if you're just joining us here on Cancel This, Saudi Arabia is doing a situation where now they're not just going to focus where you can't just buy their oil in American dollars.
Mm-hmm.
It's multiple currencies. And then that stopped. Then Russia came out about 5 hours ago, and you can't trade with US dollar on their stock exchange. Okay. Kevin says, yeah, the deep state's going to live in Maui.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to do a check back on Maui.
We do, because I've been kind of checking back on Maui, and we can do more of a deep dive in it. But if you notice who's buying up the property, everything that we said was going to happen there is what's happening. The people that live there, they have nothing. Their things are not insurable. And isn't it funny that Oprah is really buying property there? And the Hollywood smear people are buying property there. It's really insane. And we'll have to do that real soon. Go into the deep dive of that story, because what we predicted is exactly happening there.
Cancel this, canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe, here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. Appreciate you guys jumping in on the People's platform as well. You can do that via the platforms on Rumble, on YouTube, on Facebook. We're also live on X, big audience there, and Cloud Hub. When we finish our show, we go to the audio platforms as well, with your usual suspects to those stations: Google, Apple, Spotify, and many others as well. Bid Nights Unite. What are bid nights?
Bid Nights Unite.
Teach me.
Nights.
Bide Nights?
Bide Nights. I think he's saying Bide Nights Unite. And if that's
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either. But I'm guessing the Biden people, they do stick together. They do. The people that are on the left. I mean, we say that, but I'm not sure that's what he's meaning. And Glenn is saying heaven on earth is Maui. Well, of course it is. And that's why people wanted to ruin it. The people wanted to ruin it so then they could take it over.
Didn't somebody say that it was going to be the first AI island? They're going to.
Yeah, we've talked about
that. No, smart city. They had a smart
Yeah.
city function, trying to go AI, one of those things. And the other thing that happened about the Saudi Arabia decision to no longer use the dollar as their main currency, it was done quietly. I know I brought up a little bit, but it was done quietly. They didn't make some big spectacle out of this. They just announced it and went on their way. We have been worried that this was going to happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's hit, and, it's boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy,
Yeah.
oh boy.
It leaves you almost speechless when you start to really grasp. And I would say a lot of our listeners have for years. But when you look at your friends or look at a family member, that the light bulb is starting to go off on everything that we've been planning for decades, that maybe we all woke up to several years back, and you start to see their eyes going, wait a minute, wait, what are they doing to us? Like, what are they doing to our money? What are they doing to our land? How comes our bananas are $1 million now? And their eyes are starting to wake up. Wait a minute. How come our Donald Trump is convicted on things, and he was impeached in Russia, and we don't even know what he's convicted of, really? And you watch them. It's almost like watching your cute little, toddler say their words for the first time. When you see a friend or someone that has been on the opposite sides of reality or being able to see the truth, and their eyes start to go, oh my gosh. And they're like, is this what they're really doing to us? That part in and of itself is rewarding, because the people that were the biggest naysayers are now starting to realize we've been played for a long time.
Well, our currency is on its track to being worthless. It really is.
Yes.
Where you have to, now, I'm not trying to throw us all there right now, but you become dependent upon government.
That's right. That's where they want us, is dependent on them for every single thing.
Troy says, as we've talked about on this show, all superpowers, all empires eventually fall. And we're seeing it firsthand. We have a front row seat watching what's going to happen. Okay, I talked about what Russia did. Jay says the thing with Russia in response to the U.S. allowing Ukraine to use our weapons offensively in Russia might be. Russia also sent 3 warships and a nuclear sub yesterday to Cuba. 2 days ago, they actually did. They were down in Cuba, 90 miles off the Florida coast. And I saw a video of us racing our military down there, but they did. They're effing with us right now as well from that standpoint, and because they can. And these are problems. Just look at some other countries. Their dollars are almost worthless. Canada too. I do some interaction, some business with Canada, and we look at, we're going to split it 50-50. But then if you split it 50-50, their money's even less than ours.
That's right.
So it's not just a situation that hits America, it hits other countries as well. And then people want to be with whoever is leading. They want to be on the quote winning team. And that's where I see, and what I see happening with BRICS. I mean, it all leads up to a financial tsunami hitting our shores. It does. As Robert says, we're a stupid, arrogant people.
That's right.
I know we don't like to hear that necessarily. And when we say that, we mean as a whole.
As a whole, not just one person in particular, but we are so stubborn, or at least people that we know are stubborn and very arrogant, because they still believe that America is untouchable. They don't understand what is right at our back door. They just think, hey, it hasn't affected me yet. These people are just crazy. And there's so many arrogant Americans that don't understand.
The other thing is that if you keep the scorecard, you remember Joe Biden said none of this stuff would ever happen. He accused us, well, if you vote for Trump, you're going to have an economy that's destroyed. World wars everywhere. We'll have our men and women fighting other places. Our economy will fall down. Our borders will be overrun. What has happened? All of those things under who? Joe Biden. This is what's happened. And my God. I mean, I'm not shocked that it happened. Many insiders, even people who aren't insiders have talked about Saudi Arabia saying, you know what, F you, United States. You guys have walked around this world and kicked indoors and told everybody how it's going to work. Now, guess what? Times are changing. We're going to switch things up. We have some power, and we don't respect your administration, and or we're working with insiders behind the scene to make sure that we destroy America as quickly as and efficiently as we possibly can. Yeah. People in the UK, their health system is horrible. The wait over a year, sometimes for surgery. It's the same way in Canada as well.
That's right.
We still have some good things in the United States, but it's going, and it's going fast. And as Robert has told us before and tells us on the chat line too, we don't have a manufacturing base anymore because companies got greedy. Companies said, well, I'm going to make everything cheaper somewhere else. I'm going to make as much money as I can because I don't care about America anymore. I care about the bottom dollar. I care about the bottom line. It's work ethic, and it's overpaid on a worldwide competitive basis when it comes to the manufacturing base that Robert spoke of. And he was the last of 37 companies in Detroit of supplying that could make it. The last, because that's what our government has done. And it hasn't been done by accident. It's been done on purpose. Nobody can be that stupid. They just can't. Maybe they can, but I would guess that it was done on purpose. Once again, because you have to rely on government, taking away small business, taking away finances, and you can't do anything anymore. Do we make it to November?
Gosh, it makes you wonder. I do think we make it to November. I do think we do. I think we're not that far gone yet. But if they could figure out a way that we don't make it to November, they would already do it. But too many people have woke up. It's going to be a weird summer. I mean, for sure. And beginning of the fall with all this stuff going on.
If we start drilling and using the natural resources that God gave this country, they could come back begging. They could. But it's not going to happen until we start drilling ourselves and utilizing what we already have. And people with half a brain in this area know that. We have to drill. And then, of course, how do you combat that if you're a left-leaning, progressive, Democrat, liberal, insider, deep state person? Well, no, climate, you're going to hurt the weather and the climate. And people already have this in their brain. So unprogramming somebody like that is very difficult. And they're going to come out and support. Hell, we saw dumbasses, which we'll show you later, from some climate group trying to mess up the DC baseball game last night. I mean, it's just, and they literally sit around. This is what they do. They sit around all day looking for places to just go interact and disrupt. Listen to us. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. We're going to disrupt anything that you're doing until you listen to our demands. From the chat line, we have overregulated and taxed business. NAFTA was the beginning of the end for American manufacturing jobs. And I believe NAFTA came in under Bill Clinton,
Yes,
right?
of course it did.
A Democrat. Because Democrats don't understand small business. They just don't.
They really don't.
They don't understand business of any kind, the manufacturing situation. And then, of course, you add that with a greed factor. And I want to be careful. If you go into business, you want to make as much money as you possibly can.
Sure.
Capitalism. I get it. But at the same point in time, you balance that with nationalism, and then we don't have a manufacturing base anymore.
Right.
Where do we get things? We don't build things anymore. We go elsewhere for it. Robert says, my competition is 70% foreign made now, auto supplier company. And it's priced with 29%. Yeah, made and priced with 29% are domestic companies that are foreign owned. Oh my God. The only thing that will unprogram a libtard is starvation and homelessness, according to Troy. But even then it would be the Republican and conservatives' fault.
Correct. But there's a lot of truth to that, because you had made the comment that a lot of liberals don't understand small business. They don't. And
not from a policy standpoint.
From a policy standpoint.
And once again, that's not my opinion. That's fact. Look at the voting.
It is fact. It is. It's absolute fact. And a lot of times, if you're a small business owner and you weren't even political before, you will end up on the right side of things. You will end up as a conservative because you don't want to be taxed. You don't want to be regulated. I mean, there's so much legislation that goes down on a small business that you wake up and you go, oh my gosh, I have to vote on the right side of things, because the liberals will hurt your small business more than anyone else.
Robert has a check. He says NAFTA really was a Republican issue, guys, and to the cancel of this audience. He said Bill Clinton only went along with it because he wanted to avoid a Senate veto.
Well, if he's talking about George Bush being involved in this, I can totally believe that, because George Bush, when you look at all the policies that he said, he appeared, I'm going to say it again, he appeared to be on the right side of things. He was definitely one of the biggest times that people started seeing that there was a uniparty, was with the Bush family.
Well, I think it's fair to say the American dream hangs in the balance. You look at real estate right now. You look at inflation, $34 trillion in debt. Those aren't just numbers. These are a problem. It's, in my opinion, it's a warning. That's a dire warning.
It is.
About what we have going on. And then you look, as we've talked about, the de-dollarization, and you see what Saudi Arabia is doing. Hey, are we beyond repair? In my humble opinion, no. But you got to have the right leader.
That's
and you got to have the right leader for many years.
Yeah, I think we can be repaired for sure. I absolutely do. But we have to get a strong leader. And of course, we think it's Donald Trump. And you have to get them in to undo it, and undo it almost as fast. It probably wouldn't be as fast, but almost as fast is the uniparty Biden administration did all this to us. So you have to be aware of what's going on, but it's going to be a long haul before we get this all corrected. Because I think as a country, we still can move forward. We can still be a nationalist type country, but we have to correct it fast. Because if this goes on another 4 years, if Biden gets in again because there's election interference, we are in severe trouble. If Donald Trump gets in, I don't think he will be as effective as he could be if he wasn't fought constantly by the other politicians, but he can still do things faster with all of the opposition than anyone else can do.
Kimberly says, I'm learning a lot about this that I never understood. Thanks for the discussion today, guys. We appreciate it. It popped up out of nowhere. We would have our financial advisor on. I did reach out to Patrick Willett. He's on a beach.
Oh, well, good for him.
I think he's on a beach and might be the New Jersey shore somewhere. I don't know.
Very nice.
But I did reach out and try to get him as well because we didn't know we'd get into it. I just wanted to get into the dollar and where we are from the standpoint of what Saudi Arabia is doing. And then Russia jumping into the mix and really putting some more salt in the wound, so to speak, with not being able to use American dollars in their stock exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Your big businesses back in the 90s were Republican run.
That's right.
As Robert tells us
true.
in the chat line. Anti-union, globalists today.
Yes.
It's a uniparty.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we hear that on our show a lot, a uniparty of people being in bed together when it comes to these issues and things that are happening.
That's right. And a uniparty sounds good if both of the parties were America first. It would be great if we could say, okay, I prefer this candidate. I prefer to lean more to the right because of pro-life issues, but I at least know the Democrats have our country, you know, the best part of our country at stake here, but they don't. And so the uniparty is both sides working against the American people.
Yeah. So if anybody has anything else to add from that standpoint, finishing out where we are, what's happening, where this goes. Once again, remind your friends and family in a polite way, in a persistent way. Like, subscribe, share our show, get the information out there, show people what's happening. Because, you know, you're just not going to hear media talk about it a lot. And you're not going to hear media bring this up because it is a very bad look for Joe Biden.
Yes, it is.
From the chat line, we need to return to isolationism and put our interests first. You know what else that is called? MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
Make America great
That's
again.
right.
Now it's make America sustainable again.
Yeah.
Make America average again. I mean, literally, that's just getting to one point as we build up and having the goals to get there because of what's going on.
That's right.
Wow. Thanks, Troy. Troy said, yeah, in other news, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, ultra progressive liberal, giving driver's licenses to illegals July 1st.
You know what?
Just on top of everything else.
I mean, that leaves me almost speechless, but that shouldn't surprise me. What people like Pritzker do, they absolutely want illegals in here for a reason.
My, oh my.
And they're going to give him driver's license. But he's also the same guy that said that he was also going to let these same illegals that he's going to give driver's license to be police officers. So that if anything terrorizes me more than anything in this country is already, I think that our government and our alphabet agencies are overtaken by people who don't like us, who don't like we the people. And if then you add on to that an illegal that is not even here legally, and so they committed a crime, they're illegal, they can be the one to pull us over in a traffic stop, even if we don't live in a state, but you have to drive through Illinois, and all of a sudden you hear, rear, and you look up and it's somebody that can't even speak English, and they're going to give you a ticket and haul you into jail. That is something that would leave me awake at night. That is a frightening thing to me.
There's so much crazy stuff.
Well, and like Troy is saying, he's going to be out of Illinois soon. And Eric brought this up a while back, and a lot of people disagreed with him because they said it didn't fix the problem. But sometimes if you can't fix the whole problem, you have to at least fix your problem. And Eric called it the U-Haul effect, that everybody that was in these Pritzker places and in these commie type places of California, the U-Hauls are leaving. Their people are packing stuff
Yeah,
up.
but where are
and
you going? But now you got the financial, and you got a financial issue to deal with when it comes to moving.
Yeah, you do.
It's not, and this is what I've told Eric before. You can't just, first of all, number one, you have to money to move. And number
Correct.
two, now you're dealing with the real estate industry.
That's right. But if you have the wherewithal to do it, then you might want to leave Illinois. You might want to come to Missouri then. You might want to go to Florida or Oklahoma or someplace that's bright red. And I agree with you that it makes one problem for another. And not everybody in your family can all pick up and move. But look at all these people who are. There's a lot of people that are packing their U-Hauls and moving out. And for them, it does fix the problem. And you just hope that they're not a liberal bringing that problem to your red state. So, I mean, if I lived in a place, I can honestly say that if I lived in Illinois and I saw that July 1st, illegals were getting a driver's license, and then it is confirmed that those same illegals could pull me over and could put me in jail, I'd be out of there. I would figure out, I'd take 3 jobs if I had to get the hell out of there. I'd be the first
You
one with a
would.
U-Haul.
Yeah,
I
of course you
absolutely
would. Because that's who you are as a person.
Yeah, I could. That would be so scary.
And by the way, I wanted to shout out, because he is my friend, but he does an amazing job. John Rourke with the Great American Cleanup, our guest we have on the show, veteran trying to take care of people. He has Blue Line Moving. He's moving Troy from Illinois to Florida for $8,500.
That's actually a very good price, because you figure Blue Line has to come up from where he is in Texas to come up to Illinois. And I don't know if they're packing him up, but moving his whole house, that seems like a decent price. But to your point, Vic, like what you were saying, in order to move from a blue state to a red state, it does take some funds, close to 10 grand. If you have it, I recommend you use it. If you don't, what do you do? Just sit there and squalor though? I mean, what do you do?
No, even when people move and companies do it, they usually, they'll give you at least a $10,000 moving expense, because that's what they think it would cost at bare minimum.
That's right.
So if you do, reach out to me, or Blue Line Moving. If you guys are moving anywhere, just know he's a super conservative, awesome guy. That's a 4-bedroom house and garage. Yeah,
that's a big house. That's a big house.
So we appreciate that. And of course, John's support, and we support John and everything that he's trying to get done as well. This is cancelthisshow.com, and we're grateful for our supporters that we have for the show. Complete Auto Body, that's Complete Auto Body Repair, CompleteAB.com. 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area when it comes to auto body and repair. They do everything A to Z. They're not going to screw you over. They've got your back. We've taken our cars there. If they can't fix something or don't think you need it, they tell you. They don't try to nickel dime you. You're going to have a terrific experience. When you go there, let them know you heard about them on Cancel This. They support us. And that's how we're able to do what we do. Please let Complete know throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, 5 locations where you can be helped as well. Also, the St. Louis Injury Council, David Gregory. You'll hear attorneys on TV, radio, ads. Come to us. We're your best when it comes to if you've been in a car accident or a trucking accident or some sort of workers' comp deal. David Gregory's the best. I mean, he's licensed in 7 states. There's a reason why some of the big guy names, they go to Dave. They put the ads out there and then they go to Dave. Dave will take your call. He's going to give you a discount, a big discount on the fee so that you get more money back. He's a former state rep. He's written some of those laws in the state of Missouri when it comes to accidents. Let him know that you're from cancelthisshow.com, and then he will go ahead and take some of those percentages off. That's why you need to give him a call. I've used him twice. It was amazing what he did. I got a call like 6 months later after I used him. Oh yeah, I found some more money for you through a state law that I actually happened to write. Dave is the man. He's also running for state senate. Gregory from Missouri.com, but give him a call. 314-619-4230, 314-619-4230. Also, WeQuipUSA.com, the premier rental spot where it hooks you up with other people in your area. If you need to rent an item, you don't want to buy it, you go to WeQuipUSA.com. If you want to put items up for rent to try to make some money, you go to WeQuipUSA.com. And they can also promote your businesses and they can promote spaces. And then, of course, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Talk about Father's Day coming up. Why not check out one of the Winty's locations in the Chesterfield Valley? Some of the best food, the burgers, wings, the smoked meats, all kinds of things there. And then, of course, they have Winty's in Defiance. Seems like everybody has a favorite food that they offer because their menu is diverse and they have a lot of good things. And of course, people go back for a reason. You just don't go there once. People talk about going back. Winty's Roadhouse in Defiance and Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley. We are cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. We're Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, of course. You can catch all of our shows, all 395 after today, on our website at cancelthisshow.com. News headlines, politics, water cooler talk, anything that we think can help you in your daily life. And of course, you guys helping us and being a part of our conversation. We ended up staying on this topic for quite a while because it's been so popular when it comes to your money, when it comes to what's happening and what's happening with the de-dollarization in this country right now. It's going on. It's not a joke of what's happening. Also from the chat line, Robert says how big business works is wherever capital and taxes are the lowest, the company will push profits there. I mean, it makes sense. You do that by overpaying to your cheap foreign subsidiary. This is why Honda, Toyota, Kia, etc. set up operations here. Then they can avoid any retaliation tariffs by changing the pricing game. But the average American does not know that. How much do you care about nationalism? Are you a company that's going to really promote America? Not just say it, but really promote about it. And of course, Chris wanted us to talk about how bad J.B. Pritzker is because media doesn't really talk about it and how fast he has destroyed the state of Illinois. Okay. Kathy says, got news for everybody. Parsons is quietly providing for illegals too. What are the specifics from that standpoint? Would love to know the specifics because, of course, we would share that as well.
Right. And I have heard, and a lot of people are saying what Kathy's saying about, and Parson is the governor of Missouri. And there is a lot of illegals that I am seeing in Missouri that I had never seen them before. And I can't get a straight answer. So I'm not saying Kathy's wrong in this at all, but I can't see where the legislation is that he's doing or where the money that he's accepting. But I can't say that I disagree with her because they're here. Hardly no one's talking about it. We've talked before. Eric brought up something. So I did talk to some of the mayors here in the state of Missouri, and all of them know they're here, but they feel like their hands are tied because they don't know what to do with them, because once they have them and once they arrest them and put them in the county jail of whatever county it's in, then they call ICE, but ICE never comes, or ICE comes after you have to legally release them. Because, say if it's on drunken and disorderly conduct, and you can only keep them 18 to 24 hours. There's no law in our books that just because they're illegal, you have to still detain them. So they're often, after that short period of time of 18 hours, they're letting them back on the streets because ICE doesn't come in that period of time. And you can't really get a straight answer from anyone but a couple of the mayors, and they're just saying their hands are tied. And when you do talk to the governor, and I like Governor Parson, you don't get an exact straight answer. And I can't see where exactly he's taking the money from it, but I can't see that he's not either. So I get why people are very concerned about what's happening in your states with all these illegals, because you would think our mayor could get them out by calling ICE.
This is according to Kathy. She says that our state is providing food, shelter, housing, and voter IDs. That's a big claim, voter IDs.
Right.
If you had specifics on it, we will talk about it.
Yeah, I really want to know that too, because I know that food and shelter and housing is being provided by some church, both Catholic and Protestant charities, and they're housing a lot of them too. But I can't.
And if the illegals end up in the state of Missouri,
yes,
where do you push them?
You push them to the churches in a lot of cases. That's where people push them.
And if you push them out of state, where do you do it? We just need specifics.
Yeah. And
it's easy to say this thing is happening here, it's happening there, but the specifics are what we have to talk about, because there are a lot of rumors out there. Oh, I see them getting this and getting that.
Right.
And is it really something the state is providing? Or this is one thing I learned in news over a long time. It may look like something, but then you have to really break down details.
Yes.
And go from here to here to here.
Correct.
How is money transferred? Who actually signs off on this? Mm-hmm. Is this something that's actually government funded?
Right.
Is it state funded? Can states literally just kick people out of their state? And where do you send them? And then can the government actually come back on you and then fine you and hurt your state more? There's a lot to it that meets the eye in many cases.
Well, and correct. And I'm not saying that Kathy is wrong here. I'm hearing a lot of people saying that too, but I can't. And people will say, well,
Not saying I don't believe it.
yeah, I'm not saying she's wrong either. And people will then say to me, do your research. And I do. I research as much as anyone else. And I can't find the money for this coming from the state of Missouri. But I do find the money coming from the federal government. My issue with Parson at this point is I'm not saying that he's the reason that they're here. Maybe he is. Maybe he is quietly doing that. And if that's the case, it's pretty, as Kathy is saying, is pretty covered up. Where I'm seeing is that the federal government is sending them. Tanya just said they're coming on buses, and she's right. I've seen them on buses come in here. I've seen them at the airport. People have told me that. That means it's coming from the federal government, and they're dumping them here. And so, and I do believe that. And there is research that the federal government is dumping them here. But then now, what is our governor going to do about that? Can they do anything about that? I mean, I know DeSantis is flying them out of Florida and sending them back to New York. So I think there's a lot.
But not every day he's not.
No, he's done that, maybe 3 times?
That's the key, though. It's not every one. And it's,
that's right.
Sometimes and then it's like, oh, is this just a photo op?
Yes.
Or is it, and then you have to have money to do it.
Correct.
And then it starts taking away from your resources that were going towards other
That's
things,
right.
tax dollars.
That's right. And that is, and what Kathy and people on our chat line are saying, they're saying that he's doing it. I'm not saying that he's not. I want to see the concrete paper, and I do my research, and I'm not seeing where exactly Parson is doing that. People are saying it. People are trying to link links to him, but it isn't. To me, all the things I'm seeing is the federal government is doing this to us. And so say if I was the governor, I would want to do what I could do, and I would want to put them on the next bus out of here. But a lot of times you don't have backing from the uniparty in your own state to get them out of here. And that's sad that we're all even having to say this, is you have to have some legislation to do these things. And even though the governor doesn't want them here, or I don't want them here or whatever, how do you get them out? You have to have money to do it. You have to have people to back you to do it. And so, and we've got, just in our state and many states, we have all of the Republican candidates saying that they're not going to allow this. But are they? Are they really? We all talk a good game to get into office, but then once you're there, do you really have the authority to do what you promised you were going to do?
That's a great point.
I mean, there's so many things that I see all three of the candidates here in the state of Missouri and everyone else saying, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of personal property tax. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get this. But when you really look down, they can't just do that. They have to legislate their way out of that. And if they don't have enough handshaking, enough backing by the other people, it's not going to be done. And the sad part of it is here we the people are all so disgusted by what's being happened to us. We don't even believe our governors anymore. We don't even know that. I think to talk to our governor, he's a good dude. I think he's a good man.
He is a good man.
I do. I think our governor is a good man. I think he's corrected a lot of bad issues. Heck, the best thing that Governor Parson has done is back the legislation to make abortion illegal in our country. I'm sorry, in our state.
In our state.
No one else has been able to do that. So that is huge. So I hesitate to just bash a person upon something I can't find the proof of. And yet everyone is saying that not everyone, a lot of people are saying Parson should do more with the illegals. I want him to do more with illegals. I certainly do. But can he?
Here's the other thing about, and from the question too, and this goes with any governor in any state. People want to hear him say things.
That's right.
He's not a talker.
He's not. He's very quiet.
If you're going to say things and you rile people up, but if there's not, what can you do?
That's right.
I'm not trying to stick up for him. I'm like, it's one thing just to say things, but if you can't back anything up, maybe it makes somebody feel better, I guess.
Right. And I know I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty of saying things that I want to happen and say it as it's gospel truth. But then when I try to back up what I just said, I can't, there isn't any proof of that. And like, if you research and if anybody on this chat line says I'm wrong, please send it to me, DM me. I can find zero proof that our state is purposely bringing in the illegals. The federal government is. And now we don't know what to do with these people. There's so many here, even just in our state. They're all over the United States. It takes money from the federal government to get them back out. And we don't have the support from the federal government. They're the ones doing this to him. So the one thing that I can say with certainty is that if we vote for Donald Trump, I can't even say with certainty with any of the governor picks, but I can say with certainty that Donald Trump will do everything in his power from the federal level to get them out of here within the law.
Yeah. And if you have evidence, send it to us. We'll break it down. We are grateful for that. Not saying that there isn't, but then of course you know what? We'll bring it up. We'll reach out. I'll ask them. We'll try to get them on the show to talk about it.
Right.
To see what's real, what's not, what can be done, what can't be done,
Correct.
where money's coming from, who's actually taking care of illegals. We'll do it. That's what we do here on Cancel This. We also cover breaking news here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. We'll see. I guarantee this will be covered by media all day long. Not what Saudi Arabia did by taking away the dollar as the sole way to purchase, which is going to have, in my humble opinion, some massive effects with our economy unless we start to become more energy independent and drill a lot using our own resources. The Supreme Court just released its first decision regarding medication when it comes to abortion and the abortion pill. The Supreme Court rejected a bid to restrict access to the abortion pill. So the access is there.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to stop that. So the Supreme Court issued this.
Right.
Their rationale was lack of standing. They said that they really don't have a standing to stop that. So there it is.
Yeah.
So the Republican Party doesn't matter. So I don't want to hear any Democrats say that, that the Supreme Court is all hardcore conservative. They're not. They just voted against a possibility to restrict the abortion pill. They voted against it. There will be no limited access to it. So Republicans, they pushed that forward. So there you go. The Supreme Court said they just didn't have legal standing to stop it.
Yeah. And that's the triptych that we're in, is our laws are so convoluted for some of our legislators to see that all the things that we want is we the people, and we are deserving of it. We are deserving of safety and liberty and to not have people that are here illegally. But they've made it so convoluted. And they meaning the federal government, they meaning the uniparty, they meaning the Biden administration, not necessarily Biden, that it's really hard to get anything done at the state level because you have to do all of these things by legislation. Whether it is our governor, whether it's our secretary of state or whatever, they can't wave, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, a magic wand to just do the right thing. It has to go through legislation. So the thing that I've learned through all of this is you have to pick the people that you're going to vote for that know how to legislate. I can't say that enough. I see the chat line is wanting me to say something different, but you have to legislate your way out of this. And the problem is in most states, there's a stalemate between the Republicans and the Democrats by personality, not by legislation. People within the Democrat Party, people within the Republican Party are all butthurt because this one didn't get elected to this and this one didn't get this. So they stay mad at each other due to personality issues. And then we, the people, get hurt. And why we're stuck here with all the illegals getting free health care, getting free hotels, then wrecking our hotels, then, literally abusing our police officers. And so it's just a train wreck. So the number one thing we have to do is really has to be in August, really has to be in November. You have to be aware who you vote for, not the person that has the biggest mouthpiece on social media. Look at the one that legislates our way out of this. And sometimes it is the quiet one. Sometimes it is.
From the chat line, Supreme Court only weighs in on constitutional questions. Only if laws are unconstitutional can they weigh in. It's a state thing.
It is a state
and that's
thing.
where Donald Trump said as well.
That's right.
It is a problem that the state legislature is inept and feckless.
Yeah,
Or-
for sure. Feckless is a
Or
good word.
reckless.
Feckless and reckless.
Donna says, how about the 20 inches of rain in an hour in Florida? Speaking of climate change, emergency. Water up to and over the knees in Broward County.
Boy, you know what? Speaking of Broward County, that county is almost like the devil is all over that place. I mean, really, like, with the shooting that happened there in Broward County years ago, and then you find out that the police chief there has been seen with Hillary Clinton a lot, and now this rain, we probably need to pray for Broward County.
We appreciate it here. Cancel this. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house as well. Something else that's come out, and I don't know if it's going to be here today, gone tomorrow, but there's a guy, and his name is Michael McCormick.
Mike McCormick.
He's a Biden whistleblower. He's a former White House stenographer. Could you imagine being a stenographer for Joe Biden? He's come forward with some explosive allegations saying that Biden, and there is proof, committed multiple crimes in Ukraine. That's right. This during his vice presidential run. And he says that he has evidence of Biden's crime family committing crimes in Ukraine. And he has a piece of evidence that the mainstream media and federal investigators have intentionally ignored. They won't do it. He's expressed his willingness, and Joe, you have a picture of him. You can show him. This is Michael McCormick. He wants to work with a special counsel under a potential second Trump administration to bring all these allegations to light. It would only happen if Trump wins. He believes a special counsel could provide the necessary independence and authority to investigate what he has with Biden without any political bias against him. I'm sure he would love some protection as well. These claims come amid ongoing scrutiny of Biden's overseas business dealings, which the House Oversight Committee was doing a great job of until October 7th. Funny how that all changed. We didn't hear anything more about it. And he says particularly these crimes occurred in Ukraine, where his son, Hunter Biden, has also faced allegations of corruption. And then, of course, his trial was just a mini part of what was going on to try to get the focus off the Biden corruption family. Once again, it's all set up. A to B, B to C, C to D. And it continues to go back. So how about that?
Wow.
Whistleblower Michael McCormick. Follow that story. Remember the name. Let's see where it goes when it comes to that situation and what's happening all over the place.
Yeah, we need to keep our eye on that for sure.
The Merrick Garland situation yesterday, I mean, the U.S. House finds him contempt. Is this moving the needle for anybody? Does it make you happy? I'm going to be honest, to me, it's like, it's not getting much traction. Not nationally. Of course, it's not going to in liberal news media. He's not going to go to jail. I wouldn't mind him going to jail for everything that's happened, but he's not. He's not going to jail. I don't know. Does it put him back? Does it handcuff him in any way? I mean, we're in the final run of what we hope and pray for this country's sake, the final run of Joe Biden. From the chat line, boy, he better be careful. Michael McCormick.
Be careful. Yes,
he will be unalived.
As soon as we were talking about the story, my heart just went out to him because so many people in the political world that tell the truth and try to whistleblow about it, they just quietly become unalived. And you see a blurb, but if you're the average person, you're not connecting all the dots that have been unalived supposedly by the Clintons and unalived. It's what we need to keep a close eye on him because you're going to see something happen to him. Absolutely.
We have to wait and see.
Yeah, I hope
for
not.
Sure.
I hope not. But I'd be very careful if I was him. I would make sure if I had the money, I'd have some sort of a bodyguard with me all the time.
Well, he wants to work with a counsel for protection to make sure that he could go there.
Yeah.
Robert says, by the way, regarding the Merrick Garland contempt charges or finding him contempt, they voted him in contempt in the U.S. House. Robert says, but like Republicans like Rudy and others get jail time. Yeah. Or at least allegedly put him in jail for the situations there. The Garland issue is a perfect example of the uniparty.
Mhm.
Calling them rhinos is an understatement.
Right. True on that aspect for sure.
I know. Also from the chat line, remember, Dr. Phil doesn't want Trump to go after his current or former political opponents for the betterment of this country. Sorry, I'm a vindictive bastard, and I want to see them all in a dark cell of breaking rock somewhere for what they've done to this country.
You know, a lot of people feel the way that Chris does, but I understand the rationale why Dr. Phil said that. The only way to heal something is to not sometimes address it. Those people have to sit in the ilk of what they've done. But if he only has 4 years to correct this, and I'm with you, Chris, as the human side of me, I want Hillary Clinton and everybody to pay. I really do. But he only has 4 years. And if he deals with the first part of the year trying to go after everybody that went after him and went after we, the people, dang it. It's like he won't get anything done. But it is sad. And I don't know if Donald Trump should probably have tried to go after Hillary in the first term that he had or all the other people. And it's sad that we even have to talk about this because there's so many things that Donald Trump could get retribution from, but should he? Should he? I'm kind of with Chris. Yeah, they should. But then I'm kind of like Dr. Phil going, just go after the good stuff.
I know. The Merrick Garland thing didn't move me.
Yeah, it didn't move me either. Because was that a surprise to you?
I don't know.
They're going to take people that they can put on lesser offenses now to just go, now see, Vic, now see, American people, we're fair. We're fair. We go after the Democrats too. That's what we do. But they're just doing it for show. Nothing's really going to happen to these people. Not really. I mean, they're not going to have anything bad happen to them, especially if they know stuff on the Clintons and the Obamas and the Uniparty. Nothing's going to happen to them.
From the chat line, you're trying to give rationale thought to the leftist mentality that think they're virtuous in all their evil agendas.
Yeah, you're right, Chris.
Trump didn't go after Hillary because he wanted the country to heal. Justice is not revenge. Justice is just that, justice. I agree.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's so hard to turn the cheek.
Mm-hmm. It is really hard to turn the cheek. I mean, it's really hard. And sometimes when you turn the cheek, so to speak, and you let it just bygones be bygones, in the end, you probably can move on better than trying to get some sort of a revenge. But I do understand. It's like, when do these people ever get any consequences?
Donna says he feels as if they're just throwing us a couple bones. Also,
yeah,
Garland story did move me. It confirmed to me they are above the Congress and the laws.
Yeah.
Why so? And how so? What do you mean by that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, I don't know that it moved me, just because I guess for the same reason Chris is saying it did move him, that it confirmed that they are above the law. I think I already knew that, and that's why it didn't move me. It's like, if you're in with that little group of elitists, there's not much that you can do that they're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt somebody that tries to blow the whistle on you, but not the criminal, actually.
If Trump gets elected in the next term, his administration should be able to walk and chew gum maybe at the same time if saving the country is priority. They can do both, the people and correct the course of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Sometimes if you turn the other cheek, the behavior could continue. That is a fact. I've seen that happen.
You know that,
especially in my own life.
Yep.
The justice tour, not revenge tour.
That's right.
And that's what Donald Trump has proclaimed.
Yeah.
There's not time to go after retribution.
Right. He only has 4 years. That's my thing. If he tries to go after everyone, which the heart of hearts I want him to do, like I want him to make these people pay who have ruined our country, and go after, from the number one person I would want him to go after is Fauci, to be honest with you, even more so than Hillary. But he only has 4 years. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all he's got.
Well, there is another situation that's going on with Donald Trump, and that's what happened in New York regarding the case with Judge Merchan. And anybody, as I like to say, with half a brain knows it was a clown circus court trial, wasn't fair, wasn't right, still didn't know the crime. Nothing made sense. Let's make this a felony, convict him on everything. Don't look at this evidence. Well, it's not the end of it. Alvin Bragg is now having to go speak to Congress. And Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey will be speaking today. He did an interview with Fox News early this morning on Fox and Friends. And here is Andrew talking about what's actually happened in that case and the rest of that interview that they did promoting what is going to happen, or at least what they're trying to do when it comes to this Judge Merchan case in regards to it being an illegal case when it comes to everything that you need to know.
Always fight over jurisdiction. They never give that up. And in this case, it was ceded so easily. Andrew, Democrats, of course, are going to try and flip the script, calling today's hearing playing politics. And they're going to make this point, Andrew, A.G. Bailey. They merely follow the facts and the law up there in New York City. How will you cut the legs out from under that argument?
Well, they bent the law to meet the facts in a specious legal charge. There's an unseemly amount of prosecutorial misconduct. And at the end of the day, what that does is it injects both statutory and constitutional violations into the process from the charging document onto the jury deliberations. And so this is a legally errant conviction. It's not a legally valid conviction. And that emphasizes the illicit nature of the witch hunt prosecution. And it's important that the American people understand that the goal here was never to convict President Trump of a crime. It was always to remove him from the campaign trail. Now, this is a presidential candidate that has a right to speak and that we as a people have a right to access. This has done immeasurable damage to our democratic republic, and we've got to hold wrongdoers accountable.
Let's focus on this Matthew Colangelo, Alvin Bragg dichotomy here at A.G. Bailey, because the number 3 starter right now in the Yankees rotation is not waving his hand and saying, please send me to single A so I can ply my craft. What possible reason could Matthew Colangelo, the number 3 at the Department of Justice, have to leave the DOJ, go down to the Manhattan DA, if not for his desire to help the Democrats and get Trump?
Yeah, the DOJ may not have intervened to reassert the jurisdiction of the FEC. That's the appropriate legal avenue for the DOJ. But instead, what they did was deploy resources to the state of New York in the form of Matthew Colangelo, like you said, the former third-ranking official in Biden's Department of Justice who led the trial court prosecution against President Trump on behalf of Alvin Bragg. So he takes a pay cut to go work in state court. He's politically motivated. Those prosecutors should have been disqualified from prosecuting that case. There was no case to begin with. A subsequent prosecutor that the court could have appointed would have identified that and dismissed it before it got this far. And again, Biden is behind this whole thing. I mean, he has managed the Department of Justice that also administers grants on behalf of the Soros-backed Vera Institute to Alvin Bragg's office with the intent of dismantling the criminal justice system. So while Alvin Bragg is ignoring crime in the subways and on the city streets, he is being trained to weaponize the criminal justice system against Biden's political opponents.
Trey, quick final word to you. If we don't stop this lawfare right now in its tracks, can our century-old justice system survive?
No, it can't. And we have a big threat to the First Amendment and whether or not candidates can actually run for office in any state, because we'll have turned loose all the prosecutors across the country, whether they be state or local prosecutors, to go after individual candidates for perceived violations of campaign finance law.
Thank you for what you're about to do on Capitol Hill today. The world, and especially our country, needs to hear it. Trey Traynor and
all right, Andrew Bailey, kicking ass, taking names like he has been since he started with the job in the AG's office. Is it a chance for him to get a bigger name? Yeah, he's going to be there, but he's going to blow him away because he does, and he actually has a case to talk about that has no standing when it comes to a legal standpoint.
That's right. Well, and it's just, I love seeing people that we do elect, or in some cases, in this case, he was selected, to go up there for the state of Missouri and give truth bombs. And I like to see the ones that go up there and call out the truth, and they're not afraid, and they're relatively new at a job and still go out there and say things other people aren't saying. So that was a breath of fresh air.
No, it is. And we'll keep you posted with Andrew Bailey today. We'll follow everything that he said, and of course, bring it tomorrow. There is still a really strong thought that those convictions are going to be overturned. Mm-hmm. I didn't think so. I think Andrew Bailey told us that last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
He thinks that they'll be overturned.
Yeah.
And it didn't just sound hopeful.
Right. He sounded like he was pretty confident that they were going to be overturned. And so did Will Scharf. They both, and ironically, they're running against each other, but ironically, they both like
Yeah, in the
Donald
state
Trump.
of Missouri.
Yeah.
Two great candidates.
Fantastic candidates, both of them. And they both are true fighters for the Make America Great Again movement. And they both think it's going to be overturned in appeal. They both do. And that's why some of the things that I think that they're doing right now, is I think they know it. I think they know that they push the envelope as far as they're going to push it. And even if it doesn't get overturned, really nothing's going to happen to them out of it.
No, and the key being it wasn't meant to, quote, send him to prison. It was meant to get him off the campaign trail and or to back out of the election.
That's right.
Backfired.
Backfired.
In every case. Because
Yes.
Donald Trump is more popular now than before the situation occurred in the beginning.
Well, and he doesn't have to use all of his
lose.
own money. He now is getting so many people, and they're not lobbyists. They're getting grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, aunt, uncle to donate little bits to his campaign. And then it's become huge. And this isn't lobbyist money. This is the American, we the people money. And so now Donald Trump can even breathe easier in his own economic life at home because they're coming after his businesses. So it warmed my heart to see how many true patriots are donating to his campaign. And so it backfired on him bigly. Huge, it backfired on him.
Well, the other thing that happens is Donald Trump gets more and more publicity, and that can only help his cause. Another poll, Bloomberg News poll, Morning Consult poll, says that over 75% of Americans blame Biden for the economy being the way that it is. It's another reason why he has a big problem.
Yeah.
He has a big problem, and it's not getting any better, which is why I still don't see how they can run him. But I know I stand corrected for. I know I don't know why it doesn't make sense. He shouldn't be there.
It doesn't make sense. But the one thing is, this is what I think they're thinking is that they were able to do whatever they did with the election to make it look like so many people voted for that sleepy dude. And they're trying to make all these bad things either be Donald Trump's fault or really you don't see with your own eyes what is happening. They can control Biden. If they put someone else in there, they might not be able to be as controlled. So that's why I think they keep them in there. But so many people disagree with me and think at the nth hour, they're going to pull him out and run somebody else.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep.
He's failing in every single poll. He's terrible when he gets in front of a microphone. He is brutal when he tries to act like he can go off script. None of it's working, and he's failing. He is failing in every sense of the word.
But what the good thing is now, because of what they've done with this trial, as he's waiting for appeal, regardless of whether it's Biden, regardless whether they put Newsom or Michelle, Michael Obama up, I don't think it matters anymore. Because I was kind of concerned about Michelle Obama running before, thinking that maybe there could be enough people that would vote for her because so many people. Right. I wouldn't be me. But now I don't think there's any way. I don't think they could put anyone there, no one there that's going to beat Donald Trump now. So I don't really think it matters anymore, whether it's Joe Biden, Michelle, Gavin Newsom, some surprise Democrat we don't even know. I don't think it matters.
And if there is the deep state, which Donald Trump has talked about, which we've talked, even Bill Maher, Democrat who does not like Donald Trump, says there is a deep state. If you start to see the writing on the wall, if you're not able to corrupt an election, if you're not able to get your guy in, then you destroy the country as much as you possibly can before Donald Trump gets there.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so that it's so hard for him to repair it in those 4 years. Yes, I think they're totally destroying it, knowing that Donald Trump could very well get back in there. And they wanted to do all the damage they could before another Republican could be there. Because there are a lot of good Republicans, maybe not as good as Donald Trump, but that could actually run and still start to save this country. I just don't think now that they are where Donald Trump is, where he knows where all the bodies are buried. So...
This is Cancel This. Like, subscribe, share the show. Episode 395 today. Vic, Lizzie, Projo in the house Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. Sometimes we go over. We appreciate you guys supporting us, sharing our show, letting people know what we've got going on. We're here for you. We appreciate you guys showing up for us as well. Big team, big family, and we are grateful for that. Facts first, not feelings. Facts first, not feeling. Our friend Chanel Rion from OAN, who joins us, put out some information recently. We talked. Oh, I had to give an update. Remember the information that there was a Ukraine list that was funded by U.S. taxpayer dollars of individuals in the media who were, quote, stopping money from going to Ukraine or aiding and abetting a idea to stop helping Ukraine. Remember that from yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Laura Loomer was on the list. Benny Johnson was on the list.
Yes.
Well, by bringing it public,
Mm-hmm.
that list was eliminated. That is no longer a funded group by the American taxpayers.
That's beautiful.
It was ended yesterday.
So see, things can get better when you do out them. So don't be afraid to speak up.
Well, and that's where podcasting has become a massive support
Yes.
for people, which is why it's a great place to support, to put ad dollars,
Mhm.
to put sponsorship dollars, to make sure that word is getting out and it's being put for people to circulate. So I was
right.
happy to see that. Not happy to hear this from Chanel Rion, what she put out. This isn't long, but we certainly wanted to show you what she put out in her reel. And you can always find her and look up Chanel for all the information she has.
Our current government is radical and dangerous. Hell, the FBI is investigating me. FBI Special Agent Elizabeth Bracco was at the door of one of my sources. Special Agent Bracco was grilling them on me, a member of the Free Press. Why? Because I was investigating Biden corruption in Ukraine. I was asking how the Bidens live in beach houses in Delaware and estates in Bel Air and are worth millions on a civil servant's salary. They'd throw me in jail if they could. Our current government is radical.
Wouldn't doubt it. Thanks, Chanel. Appreciate it. Those things are happening.
Yes.
Chris calls it a media hit list. Let's call it what it is. Glenn Beck was on that as well, but let's be frank. It's just gone publicly and actually completely gone.
Yes.
And it's happening. If you look at Democrats will call this, well, you see, they're all felons. Everybody's dirty in the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, if you look deeper, it's who gets attacked. If you're a Republican, you get attacked. It is absolutely statistically impossible for every single person to be a felon that is associated with Donald Trump.
That's right. That's right.
That has a conservative ideal. We will find something and we will throw it at you. As we said, I can't remember who it was with the Nazi regime. Show me a man and I'll give you a crime.
That's right.
And it seems as if those things are happening over and over and over again. But you can be persistent and put the information out there to make sure that people are aware and understand what is happening.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
The congressional baseball game was played last night. Eric Schmidt, by the way, a big time Missouri's Eric Schmidt, U.S. Senator.
Yeah.
He loves baseball, loves his Cardinals. He had a double last night. He played pretty well. The Republicans won. They win every year. I mean, come on, let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say it? Why Republicans are so much better?
Because they're a badass. They have balls. And so when they go and play baseball, their balls are bigger than the Democrats' balls. It's as simple as that.
Well, 8 coward climate protesters were arrested during the baseball game. And we'll show you the videos. We can talk over them. They jumped on the field because we want to be heard. Look at us. Climate. And they go after any politician that accepts oil money or promotes drilling in the United States. They do. So, you see the videos right now jumping over, but they found out fast, FAFO.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job to the security, the ballpark security there in DC. Love what they did. I would love to do that just once. Take me back to my football days.
To tackle one of these
just
little
plow one,
pissant ants.
because they're criminals.
They are criminals. And
they know what they're doing. They're criminals and they plot it and they plan this stuff.
Mm-hmm. And they want to get the attention. But you know what? Here, I think they were just attention seekers. But I instantly went back to 2017 when there was a mass shooting that went on at a practice for one of these congressional baseball games where U.S. House Majority Whip Steve Scalise was shot. So I thought
that was a practice.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
it was at a practice. Yeah, it was at a practice. So even though that's right, even though this was the game, it's still these fruit nuts literally show up at their practices and at their games. And so I was glad to see the security and the police took that serious because you don't know if they don't have a gun that they're going to be so unhinged and they go after one of the Republicans.
By the way, they've been playing this game since 1909. The Republicans are up 46-22.
Mm-hmm.
They won last night's game. 31-11.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
This next video needs sound because it shows the crowd's reaction to what
Okay,
happened.
play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Telling you, cancel culture is dead. That's what we
It
do.
is.
We
It
get
is.
the word out. All it takes is people to not be afraid to say something. You are not in the minority.
That's right.
You are in the majority. It is all right to stand up and speak out against crime. It is all right to give your opinion, and it is all right to do that as long as you are not breaking the law.
That's right. And I agree with you, Vic, that cancel culture, if it's not already dead, it is dying a very quick death because it's been exposed. People are seeing it for what it is. People want to get along with their neighbor, whether they have the same religion or they don't, whether they agree on all things or they don't. They don't want to go to have their child go to school anymore, that their white kid is now supposedly the oppressor. People see critical race theory for exactly what it is. And so when you talk out about these things, all these things that we've been talking about today and all week long, that even less than 2 years ago, you were shut down, you were going to lose your job, people were going to, literally shadow ban you and all that. We are on the other side of that now because there's so many other platforms. And if you speak up, be prepared that there is somebody going to come after you. It could even be somebody in the same political realm that you're in, but when people don't when they agree, people will argue with you, and that's okay. But they cannot cancel you anymore. So speak up. Speak up. You might have a little bit of consequences to speaking up. I know I get them, but that's okay because the truth always comes out in the end.
Well, the 8 idiots who jumped out on the field were arrested federally, and they'll be dealing with that. Have fun.
Mhm.
Hope it was worth it.
That's right. Mhm. Mhm.
Losers.
And you know what? They knew what they had to know that they were going to be arrested, but they are with some group that has funds and they're going to be taken to the police station and they're going to be put there for less than 24 hours, maybe 5 at the most. And somebody's going to pay their bail and they're going to get out and then they're going to go to some sort of a trial. Nothing's going to happen to them. But you know what? They got their little day in the sun.
Yes, they did.
They sure did.
And have fun in court.
Yeah.
Have fun paying the fines.
Mm-hmm.
And being listed on a criminal list.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fantastic.
That will be fantastic.
Yeah, let's hope that a judge actually does something with them. Okay, I had to get to the story. It's interesting. In California, and we love teachers.
Mm-hmm. We do. I am one or was one.
But in California, a Sutter County second grade teacher, she was arrested. Now listen, she was arrested for DUI and child endangerment.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not going to face any charges. Now, here's the story. Wendy, we feel for you. Maybe Wendy has a drinking problem.
Maybe Wendy does.
She was arrested back in October.
Mm-hmm.
So last October, there was another member that saw her at the Nuestro Elementary the Nuestro Elementary School. It's in Live Oak. They said she was in class teaching drunk.
God love her.
Yeah, kids. I don't care.
She's going A, a B,
So
C.
the school called police on her,
Mm-hmm.
on their own teacher. They brought police in.
Uh-huh.
They did a breathalyzer test,
Okay.
and she came in at 2 times the legal limit.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But the Sutter County District Attorney,
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer Dupree,
Oh, Jennifer Dupree.
said there are no laws in the state of California for teaching drunk. It is not illegal to teach drunk in the state of California.
I was going to ask you what you meant by 2 times the legal limit. The legal limit to do what?
Well,
Drive or teach?
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They charged her with DUI initially,
Mm-hmm.
assuming, well, she's so drunk, she had to have driven drunk to school. But it can also be argued that she got really drunk while she was at school.
Correct.
So there was no proof that she was driving drunk
Mm-hmm.
when she arrived at school. So Jennifer Dupree had all charges dropped against her. Now they found her drunk at school teaching the second graders.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why I loved my second grade teacher so much.
Yeah.
Miss Williams was my favorite teacher growing up.
Mm-hmm.
As
That's
a second
funny.
grade. Maybe Miss Williams was
Maybe she was drunk.
she was hitting hot toddies. I don't know.
That's right. Because teaching will want to make you drink. As a former educator, there's some things those kids do that you're like, oh my gosh, a real hot toddy would work right now. And I'm laughing because, Gary on the chat line is saying Mr. Block at Howe used to keep a bottle in his desk. And it's so funny.
Hell yes, they did.
And we knew that they did because Mr. Block was drunk a lot. And then I remember I taught in a Catholic school right in Cottleville. And I don't want to say the person's name, but there was somebody in administration there that always had one. You'd walk in and you'd have to knock because if you opened the door, often this person had a flask and was drinking out of it. But you know what? No one called the police on them. I'm not saying that they should or they shouldn't, because if they're totally drunk, I don't know. I don't know how I would handle that. Well, actually, I do, because I've been with fellow teachers that drank on the job. I never did. I wouldn't do it. I don't advocate it. But you just kind of say to them, having a rough day, can we go get you a sub?
Oh, that's a topic that lit up. Paula, my biology teacher, drank every morning. I'm pretty sure I had a couple of high school teachers who drank on the job.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty commonplace. I think we all know the teachers that are drunk. So I'm kind of laughing at the teacher, and I hope she doesn't have a drinking problem. And I hope.
Well, clearly she does.
Yeah, and I hope she doesn't. But in the same token, I'm laughing about it, and it's not a funny matter. It really isn't. I don't want my second grader in there with a drunk teacher. I don't. But come on now. I mean, she's not the first that's done it. We all know several teachers that have been drunk.
Well, the prosecuting attorney said, listen, I don't support teaching drunk, but I can't charge it criminally.
Right.
So obviously you fire the person.
Yeah, you just fire them. Yeah.
If you show up to any job intoxicated, it's a fireable offense.
Absolutely.
That comes to a parent.
That's right. And you should not drink on any job. You just shouldn't. You just shouldn't, unless it's, maybe a podcast and Vic makes you want to drink. But other than that.
Well, we have footage of him drinking a Bud Light.
Well, that's because I set him up for that on his birthday.
Well,
Two
then you
birthdays
guys were
ago.
both supposed to do gummies at one point.
Yeah, we never will, though.
Yeah.
We talked a big game about that. We talked a big game. We were just teasing. We talked a big game. We would never do it. But, it's interesting because we're laughing about that. But it is something that we've known for years. Teachers do come and they're drunk. I mean, we had a smoking lounge for the staff and the students together back in the old Francis Howell days. That was a very rural school district in a suburb of St. Louis. And Eric and I both, went to school there, and you'd see the teachers in there literally smoking with the students back in the day. And I am sure, I didn't see it, but I'm sure the teachers were drinking with the students too. I mean, you could do a lot of stuff back then that you cannot do now. Like, we just got by with so much stuff in the 80s that my children could not get by with today.
I had a woodshop teacher in high school.
It's always a woodshop
teacher.
teacher.
Right outside. Yeah. He'd let us smoke right outside the shop door on the outside.
Yeah,
because there was a door that led outside. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always something. You're right about the shop teacher and the home ec teacher too. The home ec teacher, I could tell you some stories.
Home ec teacher?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
They're hitting the cooking.
Susie Homemaker?
Oh, Susie Homemaker. Also, a lot of
Hitting the
times,
wine bottles?
Hitting the cooking sherry. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. And sometimes, you find out later on that after everybody graduated, the home ec teacher might have dated one of the boys a time or two. So
The
yeah.
boys.
Yeah, the boy.
Oh.
Yeah, back in the day. Mm-hmm. So
I can't find if she was fired or not. I've been looking.
I did see that she was. I'm not looking at it right now, and I can't remember which source it was, but I read that she was like fired immediately. But
she couldn't be charged with DUI.
Correct. So that she still cannot work there. So yeah, so she's not allowed to work there, and that was probably the appropriate thing, I guess. And she must have been really drunk acting, because the chat line has been blowing up on all the different chat lines about they knew this teacher.
Woodshop teachers, because we don't have woodshop teachers anymore. We don't even have home ec teachers anymore.
Not really. No.
There's no metal shop teacher either.
Yeah. There's a lot of things.
What was metal shop?
We made like
Really?
we made like a toolbox, a little tool tray
Metal?
thing.
Uh-huh.
I
You-
made a sign for the front yard.
You know, we had a class that was the most fun class ever. And the class was a home ec class. And it was like dealing with your bills and stuff, but it was so funny. Like you could learn how to do your paycheck and make bills and whatever. And this particular class was a home ec class for married couples. So if you were dating someone in the high school, then you could go take this class and they would help you out. So my husband and I took this class and it was the most fun class ever. And it was actually very helpful in how to pay your bills and how to do this. And at the end, you would have a mock wedding. And one of the teachers would pretend to be the pastor. And there were so many people that wanted in that class because it was so fun. So many people that weren't even couples just went to that class to get in that class. And everybody thought they were pulling a fast one. But in reality, it was wonderful skills that we learned that kids today don't know. I mean,
No, I know they
it
don't.
was wonderful. You know, I mean, how to drive a car, how to take care of a child, how to pay your bills, how to even do your
Life
taxes.
skills.
I
It
made
was
a
wonderful.
screwdriver.
A screwdriver.
Oh,
Screwdriver.
That's pretty
Mhm.
damn cool.
That would be cool. And they don't have any of those right now.
No metal shop classes, no drafting classes, no wood shops, no home, etc. And we wonder why we have no skills as Americans.
That's right. That's right. And Donna's even said they had pretend weddings in her elementary school. This one was in high school.
Some districts do, according to the chat line.
Yeah, I think I think there's been a lot of school districts rallying back to get home ec and to get shop class back. Yeah. Now they call it facts.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's fine. It doesn't matter what you call it. But yeah, they had to go politically correct on that because a lot of the girls took home ec and a lot of the guys took shop. And so, you know, the PC police wanted to get rid of that because they didn't want you to have expected roles. That's why. That's why it was originally taken out. But like Terry's saying, you can't have these, quote, gender roles, so to speak, but you can have DEI classes.
Yeah. My
So-
son made a beautiful shelf, according to the chat line.
I love it.
Chris says lives in a more rural area that still has construction, automotive, trade courses, also the home ec classes.
I love that so
Only
much.
class they don't have is a home finance class like I had in high school.
Yeah, I think the home finance class would be
Oh,
very
this is-
beneficial.
Glenn says he actually made a screwdriver in 8th grade as well.
Wow,
There you go.
that's
Screwdrivers.
impressive.
He
That's
probably went-
Skills you may need with the
That's right.
de-dollarization happening
that was
in America.
that was in 7th grade in Zumwalt.
Well, and Mandy's saying that her school district, which is called Parkway West, they had an auto mechanics class. And that would be great. I do know now that a lot of people, like in our area, they have something called Lewis and Clark, and it's an alternative school that the kids can leave and go to that instead.
Yeah, it's like a trade school.
Yeah, that's great. I do think that's really great.
Yeah, and I knew it would start there when we got into this topic. Bring back the trade schools.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Susan says we called it business math. That's another.
Yeah, business math. That was right.
Yeah, to help teach people how to do things.
Hmm.
I
Very important.
mean, not that we need checks anymore. My son didn't even know how to write a check, really.
You know, and you're right. I don't know that anybody really has to learn how to do
Balance a
that.
checkbook.
We
balance
went
your
to
bank
we went
account.
to the bank the other day,
Yeah.
and we pull up,
Hmm.
and he's like, he's driving. He's like,
Yeah.
what do I do? And they had the compartment cylinder
Yeah.
that you put your check into.
Okay,
Get
still?
something out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, what do I do? He had no effing idea what to do.
He
I'm
didn't
like,
know how
oh,
to
take
fill
it out. He's like, what? And he's like trying to like pull it out. and
That's
pull
funny.
out the-
You
and
should have videotaped
then he's
that
trying to
thing.
open. Then he's trying to open it, and
Uh-huh.
he's like, what? And then he put it back in, and he just sat there. I said, hit the send button. You just finished your freshman year at Mizzou with a 3.5 in finance. You're a very smart guy.
Mhm.
What? And just like no life skill from that standpoint.
Yeah. Well,
And then
it's something they
so
don't
he
do.
sent it. Then he got it back. He pulled it out, or they said thank you. They go, thank you, Mr. Faust. And then he starts to drive off. I'm like, no, stop. So he had to reverse.
Yeah.
They're sending me back my license.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't even think about that.
No, and then he's
Yeah.
messing trying to open the cylinder up. The
Mhm.
cylinders can be weird to open sometimes.
They are kind of hard to open. And if you don't know how to open them, they're weird how they twist like that. I had a friend one time that drove off with the cylinder, and the police showed up at their house asking for the cylinder.
Do
Okay.
grocery stores still take checks? Glenn says he loves it when he's in the grocery store line and the person in front of him opens
Yeah,
the checkbook.
I saw a little old lady the other day.
Make plans,
cute,
change your
doing
plans
that.
for the rest of the day, I guess.
That's right. And it was it was kind of a spectacle because the cashier was probably all of 12 and had no idea what to do with the check.
I can tell you,
Yeah.
if you're old and you go in anywhere, Schnucks, Walmart, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's the voice of Pro Joe, by the way.
Yes.
They can print your check for you. Just hand them the check and
Yeah.
run it through a little printer. You don't have
Uh-huh.
to sit there and waste everybody's time
You
writing
don't.
it out.
You don't.
Really?
I still have
Yeah.
checks. I don't write them that often, but I do still have them just to say that I have them. And every once in a while, a couple times a year, I still write one to somebody. Partly just because I want to see if it still works. Like, okay, do these checks still work? So yeah, I still have checks. Still do.
I have a
Still the
checking
little
account.
old lady with the checks.
I have a checking account and never got a check book with it.
You really don't even have to anymore.
No.
You
No.
you don't need to. Heck, you can pay
It's-
people with PayPal.
Yeah,
and
it's more
Venmo
for debit
and-
now, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Oh goodness. And like, Jeannie's saying in the chat line, a lot of people don't use checks anymore because it just takes too long. They can now just go swipe and walk out.
Yeah, I thought we had hit it and went the fastest we could with chips. I'm like, oh, we're at the end now.
Uh-huh.
You put the chip in. Now then you do the
You
swipe.
barely touch it.
And then, of course, I'm not going here yet, but then,
Yeah,
of
you
course,
are.
implementing the chips into
Uh-huh.
the body.
They are, and they already have it ways that
We've
somehow
shown it.
that
We've
works.
we've shown
Yeah.
the videos.
Yeah, we
People
have.
run their hand, run their wrist. Do-do, do-do,
Oh
do-do.
my goodness.
And they're so excited doing it.
Yeah, I'm not excited.
So the people who put the chips in are.
Yeah, they want to be chipped.
There's not a
Mhm.
lot, but they're still doing it.
I didn't even chip. Okay, I fell for the chipping on one of my dogs and put the chip in my dog. And then
Why not?
Well, but then now I feel bad because
No, that's a great thing. Could you imagine the feeling you would have if your dog disappeared and you lost your dog?
Well, the dog that wasn't chipped did get lost, but somebody turned it into an animal hospital and they called me.
Okay, but that doesn't happen with all.
No, it doesn't. But but I don't know. And you're right. There's no reason I don't chip my dog other than that just seems bizarre to me that I don't know.
By the way, we have one of the best chat lines ever. Donna's reminding people, but be careful writing checks because theft ID is very easy
Yes,
now with
yes.
checks. And why does she say it? Because she knows firsthand.
That's
Sorry
right.
to hear about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I only use checks to pay bills, so I have a paper trail.
I can understand
That would make
too.
sense.
That
Yeah,
just makes
totally get
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? You have a paper trail.
You have to do your finances the way that you're the most comfortable dealing with them. And there's a lot of ways to deal with your finances these days.
Can't believe before we get out of here, Lizzie, Chick-fil-A tried to do something really
Oh,
good.
stop it with the Chick-fil-A.
Let me finish. You're jumping my butt before you sound like my damn ex-wife. Just let me finish.
That's why I was sent here. They were like, Lizzie, you need to come here to aggravate Vic every day like I'm his ex-wife.
I have nothing against Chick-fil-A. I just reminded you that it's one of the worst foods that you can eat, regardless of how good it tastes.
I know. But you
Chick-
like to rub it in.
Oh my God, no, I
Yes, you do.
don't. Chick-fil-A in Louisiana had this awesome program. There, I can just throw my damn pen around.
Because I've got you so upset now.
Chick-fil-A has this really cool program. What they did was they had a camp. It's summer camp. Kids go to summer camp, right?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so the kids went to summer camp. $35 for a day.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to teach kids how to pack a bag of food, how to talk
Okay.
to customers,
All right.
the inner workings of a Chick-fil-A, how a process or a transaction works.
Yeah.
And then they promoted it online.
Okay.
Then they had so many evil people
Oh,
try to come after them at Chick-fil-A saying they're breaking child labor laws.
Oh,
They were
stop
even
it.
reported to the government for breaking labor laws with having, quote, kids work. Ripping them saying, oh, you're trying to get cheap labor now. I mean, this is how, and if you've ever been on social media, you post something and then people, the keyboard warriors, because people are so damn angry with themselves in their life.
yeah, they're so mad at themselves.
This happened in Louisiana. When
you got to go like this, Louisiana.
they started attacking Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A reduced the amount of information that they put out to promote their event.
I can understand that. I can't.
I mean, what the freak is going? What a
I know.
great idea.
Yeah.
Why not bring kids into a successful business
Right.
and show them how it works?
That's ridiculous.
despite all the ingredients that they use in their food.
I hadn't heard that one. Well, good for you, Chick-fil-A.
So, and since you love Chick-fil-A so much,
I do. I'm so in love with it.
I had to tell you, that I'm actually trying to stick up for Chick-fil-A.
Thank you. I feel better about you today, Vic.
Even though they're going to mechanically grown or
Oh my God, you never know where our topic's going to take us. We're told in the chat line that you are not allowed to make a burger at In-N-Out until you've been there for a year.
What? So you have to train for a year before you can make a burger. I guess you could be a cashier or clean the toilets or something, but you just can't make a burger.
I wonder if it's like that at Shake Shack.
Yeah, Shake Shack has good burgers. They cost you $100 a burger.
You cannot make a burger at In-N-Out. Really, In-N-Out
Wow.
burger?
I have never had an
Nope,
In-N-Out
never heard
burger.
that.
Have you guys had an In-N-Out burger? Have you had one, Joe?
Closest thing I've had is Shake Shack.
Me too, and I hear they're
very,
closed.
very
In-N-Out's,
similar.
In-N-Out's terrific.
I've never had one. I think I might need
Absolutely.
one now.
I've been to LA twice and I never.
I've
stopped
never
at
had
I had one a
In-N-Out.
year and a half ago when I was in the San Diego, Los Angeles area.
Okay, I need to get
it's
me
good.
one.
No, it's good. It is good. It
Yeah.
is good. I mean, it's not going to like make my day if I eat one,
Yeah.
but
So it's
they're-
not like if
they're
I
pretty
died
good.
tomorrow, I'm missing out. It's not that good.
I mean, they're good, but I mean, I don't know. It depends on how much you like food, I guess.
I do like food.
Okay.
I'm a big fan.
Well,
of
maybe
food.
you would love it then.
Yeah.
A lot of shout outs for Shake Shack. So
Yeah, Shake Shack is good. It
Yeah.
tastes a lot like
Ugh.
supposedly they're saying In-N-Out. I don't know. I've had Shake Shack and it's awfully good.
I love Shake Shack.
of
Yeah,
course
if
you
if
do.
you have a bad day, you just have to go get one of their
I
chocolate
haven't had it in
shakes.
so
Okay,
long.
I've heard this
Oh.
too. I've heard Culver's. People think Culver's is better than In-N-Out.
Yeah, their butter burgers are good.
And
And
a
I-
shout out for Wendy's, of course.
Well, Wendy's
Oh, yeah.
has the best burger. That's just
My
goes
kids
without
eat the
saying.
In-N-Out burgers.
They eat In-N-Out or Wendy's.
I mean, they eat the flat tires.
That's what I thought you meant.
Love the flat
Yeah,
tires.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
As Jeannie says, it's a hamburger, people.
I know. We're
I don't
kind of
know,
making
some
a
people
big
get
deal
excited
out of
about it,
hamburger.
though.
It's
I
exciting.
kind of get excited about my food. Like I really do. I'm a food person. I used to make fun of
But
people.
Culver's is the butter burger, and that's why it
Okay.
tastes so good.
That
I haven't had it
makes
for a
sense.
long time, but it's damn good stuff.
Nothing makes me more happy than when somebody posts a picture of their food on the internet. And I used to make fun of people about 5-6
Really?
years
For
ago.
taking pictures?
I love it. And I used to hate it. When people used to take pictures of their food, I'd be like, do you not have anything better to do than just take pictures of your food?
When I was in South
Now
Carolina,
I love it.
Megan was taking pictures of our toast.
Yeah,
and
love it.
She takes pictures of her food.
Yeah, I do too.
I
Now,
only do that when I make it.
now I take pictures of any food almost. I don't always post it, but I like pictures of food because I want to see what it looks like and I want to go there. And yeah. And I'm not really a foodie, but I'm a picture foodie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but if you talk food, people are going to have their opinions. They're going to go back and forth and
I
do
love
that.
it.
Guys, we do everything here. We love you. We appreciate it. Oh, the Village Barn Grill, Better Burger. Village Barn Grill has a pretty good burger as well.
Mm,
It's some good stuff too. Manchester 270.
yeah.
Guys, we love you. Thanks for jumping in for Cancel the Show today. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. Pro Joe, Lizzie Sparks, Vic Faust. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for giving us ideas. I mean, we're here for you. You guys are here for us. We do these shows all day long. We put the information in, the time in. Don't forget about our sponsors that we do have with Complete Auto Body, with the St. Louis Injury Counselors and Council, and WeQuipUSA.com and Wendy's. If you guys know of other people, let us know. Send them our way. Our companies that partner with us are pretty happy, and we're grateful that they're with us as well. So, guys, have an awesome day. That does it for the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. We will see you tomorrow on Friday for our Free for All Friday show. Have a great day.